history. You hear about this and you read about that. I don't want to look at Grumpy Cat. This is how to watch TV. What's that I hear? You hear the Lost finale. It's not your fault that you can't see what we see. This is how to watch TV. On Comeuppance Network. This is how to watch TV. On Comeuppance Network. This is how to watch TV.
Chronologically Lost with Joel and Jenna. My name's Joel.
My name is Jenna. We're brought to you by Comeuppance Network, and you can find all of our social media links at thishishowtowatchtv.com.
That is all accurate information. Soon we will be doing a Walking Dead podcast. Well, not us. Myself and her husband, Jeremy, will be doing a Walking Dead podcast on the Jay and Jack Network, so look for that coming on the Monday following the episode, I assume. We're going to try to record it that night.
I assume.
That seems to be the logical time frame in which to do it. We are here today, though, to talk about Chronologically Lost, episode 93, 2007, The Island, days 8 to 9. So, it's weird that there's only 3 on-island episodes left.
I feel like we keep saying that, but then there's always more on island stuff.
There's only 3. Now, okay, this episode pissed me off right from the start. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, it was totally out of order.
It was not. You can't fucking do that. I know that it was used for a narrative device there. Like, they used it to fit the pieces of information in place. But that's cheating. That's not chronologically lost.
Yeah.
We should have seen this shit when she was bandaged.
Right. I mean,
it's cheating.
It doesn't make any sense. So what were they trying to fit in here? That she got hurt doing something?
That Jacob... No, it was the exposition about the candidates and what that meant. And that she had to protect them. So they were tying it all...
We definitely should have seen this when it happened.
I agree. I don't know why that choice was made, unless the scene didn't make any sense without it. In which case, maybe you can justify it.
I mean, the only other time that they justified that was when it was a memory. So is this supposed to be her remembering this? Like Claire remembering getting stabbed in the stomach with the needles?
When I remember things, and I'm not trying to be funny here, it will be funny though, I don't usually see it from a third-person perspective.
That is true.
I don't usually see myself laying in bed with bandages on my face.
Maybe they're thinking that she's
and
sleeping
then the close-up shot of my
this?
face while I'm talking. No, I don't remember it like that. But I could be weird. Maybe everybody remembers their dreams.
I totally remember things in the third person.
In
I see myself,
sitcom format, or single camera even. That's fine. It doesn't have to be multiple. So, yeah. So she's wrapped in medical gauze and Jacob visits. And
I had to stop the episode and exit and make sure I was in the right place. I'm like, what in the hell is happening right now? This is not correct.
I concur.
I was so irritated because then I had to wait another 20 minutes for the thing to load back up.
Amazing.
I was so mad.
So he says he's sorry he couldn't make it sooner. He needs her help and asks her to help. And he gives her a list of 6 people. They are the remaining candidates. And she is to protect them.
Yeah, that should have happened right before he met her the first time in the hospital with the bandages on.
Right. He stopped by twice. That doesn't seem like Jacob's very efficient.
No.
If I'm being honest.
Right.
He doesn't seem like he's getting shit done in a timely manner. It's
that
taken thousands of years.
Didn't that tall, bald, black guy go and visit her there
As soon as he's gone, Man in Black and everybody else are pushing the fucking timeline forward quickly. Let's get shit done. Jacob's been stalling for thousands of years.
Yeah, just forever.
Yeah. Of course he took 2. What were you asking? Sorry.
Didn't that tall, bald, black guy, what was his name, go?
Matthew Abaddon?
Yeah, didn't he go and see her with all the bandages, or wasn't he at that hospital, or was that Locke in the hospital?
I believe that was Locke.
Okay. But was it the same hospital?
No, I don't know where she was, actually. I'm not sure it didn't say where she was located.
I was just trying to think if, like, Matthew Abaddon went to visit her after Jacob did, and then Jacob came back and was like, oh, I forgot to mention.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
These
totally watch out for
candidates,
this
you
guy.
need to protect them.
Right. I mean, the Abaddon thing is confusing now because it's like... So, I guess it makes me wonder who was the bad guy in Lost.
Yeah.
Who was the bad guy? Because it doesn't feel like Widmore at the moment.
But it didn't feel like Jacob, and it didn't feel like
It
Man
felt
in
like
Black.
Ben
Was just out for himself
Well,
to
we
become
saw his motivation,
the
so I guess
leader.
we sympathize with Ben long term.
Right.
We saw him as a kid and saw it wasn't really his fault and blah, blah, blah. But still, somebody...
And he was still always doing what Richard Alpert told him to do. Regardless if we want to believe that Jacob was telling Richard Alpert to do things, but I think that Richard Alpert was just making shit up along the way to work for himself. I mean, not that he was a bad guy, but it was just like, you're nothing, so I'm not really going to...
Richard?
Yeah, like Richard was saying to Ben...
I feel like his motivation's been pure the whole time. I feel like Richard really believed that he was on his redemption tour.
I know, but I'm saying I don't think that Ben or Richard ever felt like Ben was going to be anything, so he didn't ever bother Jacob with it. That type of thing.
Okay.
Like, so Ben was doing all this stuff really being lied to that he would become the leader.
Right. I guess what we're coming to is there is no pure evil.
Everybody's doing what they think is best.
Except they're trying to paint Man in Locke as to be pure evil.
He's just trapped there, and he wants to leave.
I mean, God, I want to see an alternate version where he left the island. I just want to know what would happen.
But...
Because I don't believe it. I don't believe that. I feel like it's I feel like it is one big swan hatch experiment.
Yeah, but then why would Isabella come up to... Isabel come to Hurley and say that the Man in Black can't leave the island because she's dead, so he's got to be really seeing her, right? Or a memory of her.
Right, it's not Man in Locke.
It's not Man in Locke.
Which is what they were doing. They were intentionally showing us that by having, especially later when we get to see that scene with him and with her and Richard, where it panned around him and then he was gone. Did you notice they did that same shot when they revealed Widmore over Locke's shoulder, over Man in Locke's shoulder?
Oh, I don't remember.
Like that same panning behind the person's head, and then boom, there's somebody there.
Yeah.
But then Isabel would disappear when we saw that. But,
I know
so yes, she is. I don't know how, but she is there.
Because her body wouldn't have been there.
Right, but Hurley doesn't communicate with the dead like that.
No,
Hurley was at Santa Rosa, and Charlie was there.
Right, the dead people just come to him.
Echo, same with that.
But why would dead Isabel think that Man in Black can't leave the island? How would she know that? She's never been there. So then Jacob's playing mind games while he's dead with other dead people?
I don't. Okay, so I'm just winging an answer here. She was able to observe some of the stuff that's been going on the island.
I've been watching you.
So in theory, she could have been there as long as Alpert was. Except if we're going with the Hurley theory of they can come and speak to him and they find him wherever he's at, like Echo and Charlie did.
Listen, if I die...
And I'm not doing that thing where I'm abbreviating the first letter.
I know.
Charlie, Echo.
If I die and have to watch Jeremy live out the rest of his life, I'm going to be pissed off.
Right. Well, I mean, it's going to be super boring watching him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
video games. No, I mean, like, I don't want to watch him carry on the rest of his life. Like, who wants to watch that? Especially, like,
what do you want to see? The highlight reel at the end?
No, I want to come out as a new child being born, and that's all. Like,
you want no memories of this?
No memories, just moving on to the next life.
The preferred afterlife is
a new life.
Is reincarnation.
Yes. Why would you want to be up there waiting for all the people here that you... I mean, like, I get that heaven would be amazing and all your your dead friends are there.
Much like in Lost, there is no when here. So they just are there, and then so is everybody else because they're after time there, so to speak, if that makes any sense.
So everybody's... But weren't they there waiting for everybody else to arrive?
They were finding each other so that they remembered the shit that would make them be waiting for those people. They couldn't have been waiting for them because they didn't even know them. Like, they had to remember that they knew them in their life. They're dead, and
Wouldn't it be better to just start a new life? Because then what? Then they're all joining together in the afterlife to then continue
to just move on.
Hanging out?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, so now we're this church, and we're all just going to hang forever.
I mean, yes, that's very possible, but... I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but like, do you remember what it was like before you were born? For
No,
billions
that's
of
my
years?
point. And so many people.
We're not gonna. It's gonna be that again.
I get it.
Unfortunately,
I
would
understand.
love for any other option. Honestly,
Yeah.
I just can't believe one. You know, if somebody came with scientific evidence, we've done a mathematical equation, and boom, God exists. I would. You know, I'm willing to be swayed when new information is presented. I'm fine with that if it's proven.
I'm fine with.
But it just feels like blackness is going to be the end.
No, I know. And that's what I hope is not the thing. But I feel like God waiting for us to come home doesn't necessarily mean to stay with him forever. Like, okay, so we die. We're not going to just go and chill in heaven. That would be ridiculous.
Well, it's a one in, one out system.
Yes.
Clearly, there has to be some turnaround.
There has to be a circulation.
Can you imagine the amount of people there?
Right.
That must be a nightmare.
But they're
and
not
it's supposed to be
actual
heaven.
bodies.
It's contradictory.
So it's like, however, I've seen documentaries.
Wait, they're not actually bodies? You've seen documentaries on heaven?
Well, the bodies stay here.
You've seen documentaries on heaven?
No.
Please tell me you've seen them.
No, I've seen documentaries.
Hi, we're here in heaven, just outside the gates. We're trying to get an interview with Peter. Peter? Get the fuck out.
Stop. You cut me off. I've seen documentaries on little kids who have memories of being in World War II, and they're not the person that they are born. Like this kid says that his name is William and his friends whatever, and they go and they meet up with these old men who were in the war with this friend who the kid says that he is. And they have this conversation. The old man's crying because they're saying stuff that only that guy that died would remember. And then after like a month after they reconnected and said their piece, the little boy forgot about that guy and moved on with his life and never mentioned it again. That makes me believe in the reincarnation. That you are like, I'm Jenna Basitis, and when I die, I'm going to be born to somebody else.
Wait, though. But you didn't. What you described, and I'm not trying to split hairs here, was not reincarnation. What you're saying is that a ghost inhabited a little boy to finish his business.
Maybe, and that could be it too. I looked at that.
He didn't go on and continue to be that guy, and he wasn't that guy when he was born. But at 2, for some reason, he was that guy.
The kid remembered being that person. So I don't think that's outrageous to think like.
But then it just goes away?
After he said his piece. Oh,
so somebody, the person that did the job of resetting him didn't reboot
clear
all
everything.
The way. They didn't clear the cache.
Or maybe he felt like he really needed to get that off his chest and then he could just move on with this new life. You know. I think that's cool. That would be cool.
It's a great sci-fi plot. I enjoy. I genuinely want to hear more of the story, even though I know you're just making it up or telling a story.
No, that one I did watch on something.
But I mean, I would love to see a world where they can prove that's a thing, and that would be cool as fuck. I mean, what if there could be a show about reincarnation where you do that, where you?
Yeah, I mean, it would be cool.
Why are we pitching ideas? Don't steal our ideas. Anyway, on the island, they discuss the candidates, Sun and Jack and them. Yeah, I don't like this at all. Alana asks Jacob what she does after bringing them to the temple, and he tells her to ask Ricardus. So then she asks him, and he laughs, and he's like, I don't know. I was just trying to kill myself. Does that sound like a guy with a plan?
Yeah.
No. He says everything Jacob ever told him was a lie, and he tells Jack a secret. He's like, "You're dead. We're all dead." It's not. And that was
just screwing with the audience at that point.
That was that was playing with the audience expectation or people predicting that they've just been dead the whole time.
So, do you think that he really truly believed that Jacob was lying the whole time?
He said everything he's ever told me is a lie. I think he believes that at this point he's at such a low, what else is there? I don't know. He says, all this, it's not what you think it is. We're not on an island. We're in hell. Maybe it's time to start listening to someone else. And he walks off into the jungle. So obviously he's talking about the smoke monster. Jack knows, right? He's got no, because he goes, what does he mean listen to somebody else? So Jack doesn't know at this point that the smoke monster is Man in Locke, or that Locke's form is back on the island. Because he just got back from the past. He just got back to the future.
Right.
From the past.
Yeah.
So yeah, we go to the opening Lost, and then at the beach, Alana wants to go after Richard. Jack says if Richard cared about what Jacob said, he wouldn't be talking about listening to someone else. That seemed very high and mighty for Jack. Kate is making annoying noises when I move over there. It's just rattling. Here, come over here, Kate. Done. That was smooth too. Nobody even noticed.
Nobody.
Why is Jack being all like he knows shit about Jacob now? Oh, if he like he's acting like he's a deity.
Because he's one of the candidates.
So he
feels important.
Okay, that works. Jack asks if she knows who he meant, and Ben's like, "Ooh, this should be interesting." Son goes, "He meant Locke," and not exactly Locke. Then it cuts to Hurley mumbling in Spanish, and Jack asks what Jacob is saying, and he's like, "It's not Jacob, dude." He said, "Okay, what can you do?" "Yes, I can help you, but I don't know how to find him. I don't know where he went." All in Spanish. Those were the things he said. And then just tells Jack it's got nothing to do with him, which Jack's like, "But everything has to do with me, right? Isn't everything about me?"
Yeah.
Ben tells Alana Jack is right about Richard not knowing anything. He's known him since he was 12. And Frank's like, "Oh, so you guys have known each other since you were kids?" He's like, "Nah, I was a kid. I was a kid. Him, not so much. Pretty much same exact."
Right.
Yeah. And then Frank says, "Well, how do you think that happened?" As if in a knowing way, like he knew that Jacob would have done that. You know what I mean? The way he said it, the inflection was such that he was like, "Well, how do you think that happened then?"
No, I think he was just like curious. Like,
yeah,
well,
he's just deadpanning with his delivery.
How does something like that happen? Like, I would like to know. Can you inform me on that?
Right. We cut to the night vision cam, and it's watching Sawyer, Kate, and Claire. Sawyer pretends to have cocoa. He better be careful. Claire's going to hear him doing pretend stuff and want some peanut butter.
Right. Oh.
We go to the beach, and Man in Locke's beach. He's asking about Jen's leg, and he sits to talk about the cave. Says most of the names have been crossed off. Quan is one of the ones that's left. He doesn't know if it's him or her. The only way to leave the island is if all the names that haven't been crossed off leave together. It's an interesting.
Why?
It's an interesting game. He's still, for some reason, playing Jacob's game. Jacob decided those are the rules, and he gets to make the rules. And somehow he.
How do we know that those are the rules, though?
They keep telling us. I mean, he's just saying right now that that's the rule, is that I can't leave unless every one of Jacob's candidates decides to come with me.
I feel like that's...
Which is probably why they've all been crossed off over time, so he didn't have to gather 108 people.
Oh, yeah, that would be
or
ridiculous.
however many went around the lighthouse. I'm not sure. May have been a couple hundred.
I'd like to meet all the rest of them, please.
All of the people?
All of them.
You could do an entire mini-series on failed candidates.
Why haven't they?
I don't know why they haven't revisited Lost. Again, in mini-series form. I don't want 25-episode seasons for 7 seasons about it. Give me very specific stories and make them fucking awesome.
We'll take
Tell me other
7
people...
episodes at an hour long.
Right.
Because that's what we're being shoved down our throats that we have to take for Game of Thrones.
Right, exactly. Give me hour-long episodes of Lost, candidates.
Just 7 more. That's all we need.
Right.
Let's go.
No, I mean, because then I want Dharma Initiative stuff. I want the beginnings of the Dharma Initiative, Karen DeGroot and Joseph DeGroot, or whatever the DeGroot's names were, and Alvar Hanzo and the Black Rock. And there's so many things that I want to know.
I want to know why.
When did the candidates begin? When did Jacob's cave list start?
Why
did he pick a
Widmore
cave?
and Eloise broke up.
Because he cheated on her.
Did he?
Yes, he had a baby he had Penelope with somebody else off the island.
But
that was way after.
Is Penelope older than Daniel?
Hey Siri, how old is Daniel Faraday on Lost?
Okay, give me a moment.
Let's see. Faraday was... I mean, that's going to be interesting to try to figure out. Okay, so if I could just see when he was born. Date of birth, late 77, early 78.
Okay.
Okay, and then
I already forgot.
Penelope Widmore. Let's see, and then fictional character. Let's see, Lostpedia. Do I have to put in after it then? Let's see. Penelope Hume. Ooh, sorry. Born. Date of birth unknown. Damn it.
Yeah.
That's,
I would like to know why they broke up and how their lives went and why Daniel Faraday was named Daniel Faraday.
So, Charles left the island regularly and carried on a relationship with Penny's mother during his tenure as leader of the others. This interaction with an outsider broke the rules that bound the group. Sometime in the 1990s, the others discovered Charles's transgression and banished him from the island. In the sideways, Penny's name was Milton, suggesting that Milton may have been her mother's surname. But anyway, not conclusive enough as far as when she was born versus when he was born. So I don't know if she's the older or younger. I would assume he's older. Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe around the same age. I genuinely don't know.
No idea.
Let's see. So, Man in Lock tells Saeed he's leaving until morning. Saeed doesn't feel anything. Anger, happiness, pain. And he's like, yeah, maybe that's for the best. It'll, be good for you. It'll get you through what's coming. Jin tries to bail before that thing comes back. And he's shaming Sawyer for listening to him and says he's going to go find Sun. They start getting shot with darts. And Saeed says, ow. So he does feel pain.
Oh.
Interesting. Liar. They all pass out, and then Tina...
Maybe he was saying, like, inside. He was saying he doesn't feel any emotions.
I'm just saying. He said pain.
Ow.
Yeah, and he's ow. They all pass out, and Tina Fey and Manchild find Jin and take him.
That wasn't Tina Fey.
It's Tina Fey. She looks like Tina Fey.
She does look like her, but it's not Tina Fey.
No, it's Zoe, but it looks like Tina Fey. And that guy looks like a man-child for whatever reason.
He does.
It
really
annoys me
gross.
so much. Yeah, he's a man baby.
He's a pervert.
I think it
he's
changed.
He's a grown adult.
He's a pervert.
He's a pedophile, is what he is. Because he looks like a child.
Jesus Christ. So we go to morning on day 8, I believe. Or no, still day 9, right. I thought later on that it changed, but no, we're on day 9. In the jungle, Richard digs by a tree and finds a necklace and says he changed his mind. I was wrong. You said I could change my mind. You said the offer would still stand. And he's shouting it. So he's talking to Man in Lock, right?
I guess, but I don't remember him burying that.
He said if you change your mind, the offer still stands.
But when? When was that? When did he bury the cross? Did we see that happen?
No, we never saw that.
Okay, so now we're supposed to...
That was after he was released from the Black Rock.
We're supposed to expect that he buried the cross because he wouldn't agree and be on Man in Lock's side?
No, he was digging that up because he felt like he was done with all of this stuff.
Okay, I guess
so he wanted
still
to take
not
it with him.
Seeing the symbolism of the cross, like
it was the last thing, the connection he had to his wife. So he buried it so that I don't know why.
So nobody could take it away from him?
Right, maybe.
Or, I mean, it just didn't make sense.
It's just a keepsake. I'm putting it away. I'm going to be here forever.
Why wouldn't you wear it forever?
Because then it could be taken, It could be used against you. Richard had to be almost invulnerable this whole time. If he was vulnerable, people could take advantage of that and use him to... I mean, they did. That's what Man in Lock did to get to Jacob.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he was doing the right thing. He was trying. So Hurley shows up and says, your wife sent me. Isabel. And she asks, why did you bury the cross? She says she saw you dig it up and is standing right next to you. He doesn't believe you. She says, sometimes it takes people a while. Hurley says back to her. Richard turns to her and doesn't see her. And she's like, tell him his English is beautiful. And she tells him to close his eyes, and he does. And she says, it wasn't your fault that I died. It was my time. You've suffered enough. He's like, I miss you. I would do anything for us to be together again. So he's believing it, even though he's not seeing or feeling what we're seeing.
But
so
at
how
this
the fuck
point,
is he hearing her say the
right?
things?
Because Hurley is not repeating what
Correct.
she's saying at this point.
Can we take that as
so him closing his eyes means that now he can actually hear her?
What I take that to mean is they're using that creative license where on TV, like when Jacob went to speak with Alana the first time, he spoke in a different language. And then after the first back and forth with subtitles, it changed. Remember with Mother, it did that. Where she was speaking in
Did you
subtitles.
hear the...
I did not hear that noise, no. I'm glad we acknowledged that that's a thing now, the noise.
But, I mean, because I was trying to figure out, okay, so does Hurley speak Spanish?
He could.
I've
Reyes,
never heard him speak Spanish.
But his family is Spanish.
I've never heard his family speak full Spanish sentences.
Okay, but to be fair, that's just sort of what
I'm just
people
saying,
do.
I get it.
Tony's grandparents always mixed English and Spanish in the same sentences. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just
But I
pick
understood
one.
them.
Right, I did too.
I mean, when you're around it, that's fine. But like, I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be that because they're on the island, Hurley could just talk any language to whatever dead person is talking to him.
I mean, they messed with language twice in this episode with the son thing. Richard says, I miss you and would do anything for us to be together again, blah, blah, blah. We're already together, she says. And then she's gone, and
But
Richard...
that's not true, which is so weird.
Right, they're not. They were together in that moment, but he didn't even know.
But did he feel her her hand touching his face? Like,
It's a good question.
was it like one of those ghost moments where...
Everything is ghosts.
Okay.
Yes, it all works.
Yeah, I
with
meant like
ghosts.
the movie.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
The ghosting. Do you remember Community? They had a sign in the art thing that said no ghosting, where you would walk up behind the person.
Yeah. They had in that pottery class.
Yeah. So he cries and puts on the necklace, thanks Hurley, and tells him that Hurley tells Richard that she said one last thing. You have to stop the man in black from leaving the island. If you don't, we all go to hell. And Man in Black is watching from a distance. Is that the only time we've heard him actually referred to as the Man in Black? I don't ever recall that being the case before, where he was literally called Man in Black. I don't remember that.
I didn't know that he was over there watching them. Like, I thought that he was on the other side of the island going over to meet.
It looked like he was looking at the same tree.
Oh.
But just from a distance, like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think that he was there, but okay.
Maybe not. At the beach, Frank and Miles are playing cards. Ben and Alana talk about what's next.
All I can think was, genius, whoever thought to bring the deck of cards this time around.
Right, exactly. Yeah, good job. It's something to do.
Right, something to do. Well, we're going to be there. We got no internet. Someone bring a deck of cards.
Right. They're waiting for Richard to come back, and Ben's like, yeah, I don't think so. Alana thinks Hurley will find him, and Miles says unless he's covered in bacon grease, Hurley's not going to find him.
You actually have a tilde above the N on his name?
Yes.
That's amazing.
But that's how it's spelled.
I know, but that's not how... I mean, you have to go out of your way to put the tilde above
You have to
somebody's...
hold on the end, and it pops up the options.
You have to go out of your way to do that.
Totally out of my way. So out of my way. I'm sure I'm going to get a don't have a... Okay, now just a thumbs up. Oh, good. The least useful emoji to reply with. Thumbs up emoji.
Got it.
It's so dumb.
Okay.
It's so dumb. It's
Or
so
I use
not
this
anything.
a lot,
It
and then
feels
I thought,
dismissive.
I wonder if this is shitty, if it comes across
like
shitty.
asshole, because 1, 2, 3 and then hole. ASS. Hole.
Oh, no, I never thought about it that way. Yeah. No, I was thinking... Although...
Good job.
Just okay. Like, okay. I don't know. I just... I thought about it earlier when I sent it back to somebody. I'm like, does that look shitty or I don't know.
Well, Miles makes a comment that Hurley's going to find it only if it's covered in bacon grease. And Frank's like, hey, don't talk about bacon.
I know. It was shitty.
It was really funny. I mean, he was mad. You thought he was going to be like, hey, don't talk about Hurley like that. He's like, hey, don't talk about bacon.
Yeah. But they could make bacon. With, like
Could they
boar
make
bacon. Hashtag boar bacon.
Hashtag boar bacon. Son is pissed off now. She's like stabbing shit and throwing a hissy fit. Why?
Because they want to just sit there and wait. She wants to go find her
Gotcha.
husband.
She goes to her old garden, and Jack remembers when she first planted it. Feels like 100 years ago. I feel like that had to
Feels
be
like
fucking with
100
people.
episodes ago,
It
for
was
sure.
Definitely 100 episodes ago. Jack tells her about the lighthouse. And
What is that amazing smell? What is Jen making?
I don't know.
It's like garlicky and deliciousness.
Oh, yeah? He tells her about the lighthouse. She gives no fucks. He tries to give her this is our destiny speech. He's so Locke now. And
Very
she
lame.
tells him to go away, and she cuts herself, and Locke startles her. That sounds like she's emo. She was pulling plants and cut herself somehow, and then Locke startled her, and he tells her he found Jin and offers to take her to him, but she doesn't believe him. And he basically he tries to rationalize killing all the people at the temple, because that's why she doesn't trust him. She's like, you killed all those people. He's like, yeah, totally. They deserved it because they didn't come with
I offered that they could come with me, and they
Right.
said no, so I killed them all.
That seems reasonable.
But now I want to talk about that for a second, because when he said that, it took me back to the fact that he changed into the smoke monster for that. And he changed into the smoke monster to screw with Ben at the beginning.
He can
But-
change into the smoke monster.
But
That
he
is
can't
accurate.
take over another body.
Correct. He can't change his form in terms of human form.
Okay.
He can smoke
But later
or he
in
can
this
lock.
episode, Sawyer said, why don't you just turn into the smoke monster and smoke your way on over to the other
Right,
island?
and
And
he
he
said,
said, if
"Don't
I
you-
could do that,
I
don't you
would."
think I would?
Right.
So why can't
Meaning
he?
he can't smoke himself across water.
Why not?
Just because he fell off of Locke's back right when you asked that. That's funny.
That doesn't make any sense, though.
That he can't just leave the island
He
by
can't
floating
just, he
off
can
of it.
fly above the island, but he can't
can't
fly
go
above
over
the water.
pylons.
He can fly. I get it. The pylons aren't on the beach. So he would make it to the beach, and then he would turn back into Man in Locke.
I'm using another thing that he can't fly over that seems totally reasonable to fly over, the pylons.
Oh, I
If
see.
he could go up in the air that high, maybe he needs proximity to land to be able to be the smoke monster.
I guess.
Maybe he has to be the smoke monster only on that island. Maybe because of the grating and
Where
everything.
his body is.
I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there at this point. I don't really know why. I thought it was meant to say, as the smoke monster, I can't just hop between islands. If I could, I would, obviously. I'd just be doing
I
that.
thought it was ridiculous.
Because I think he's floating between the places, between the two beach camps, as the smoke
But
monster.
at the same time, he has this argument with Sun,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's chasing her through the forest. And I'm like, why are you chasing her?
Because he doesn't want to force her.
He doesn't want to become the smoke
He
monster
doesn't-
at this
because
point.
then it's a monster, and he's trying to play Jacob's game where he doesn't force people to do things. They get to make their own choice. So
I
he's doing that
guess.
same kind of a thing for whatever reason. Why doesn't he just fuck it? Just go for it. Kill somebody.
Yeah, just come with me, drag her. First of
She's
all,
going
when
to
she
die
knocked
anyway.
when she knocked herself out, why didn't he just drag her back to his camp?
Again, goes with even if he had done that and then she woke up and boom,
There's Jin,
there's
she'd be
Jin.
happy.
Yeah, exactly. But Jin wasn't
Although
there.
he wasn't there.
So, yeah, Ben finds her after she knocks herself out. She says, "Where is he?" But she's only speaking in Korean, and she can only manage to say "Locke" when he asked who did this to her. Now that makes sense because that's a name, right? You sort of get a pass on that. Like we can say Jin Sushi and know that that's his name. Whereas if you asked me to speak in Korean, I couldn't say a single word, but I could say Jin Su Kwan or Jin Sushi and not sound like a complete idiot.
Oh, because she can
She
say
could
Locke.
say Locke, yeah, but she couldn't speak English otherwise. Back at Locke's camp, he finds everyone knocked out, no Jin, and he wakes up Saeed and tells him we were attacked.
Convenient that they were all ready to wake up at that point in time.
Right, exactly. He came back just at the right moment. In room 23, Jin is in the chair. Holy shit, there are a lot of speakers in that room. Mm-hmm. I mean, unbelievable amounts of speakers.
There were like
I nearly
rows
did it
of
again.
them,
God
like
damn it.
taped on either side of the beams going up the wall. I remember seeing that and going, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, there were
Just to
so
make it
many.
so loud. That's why.
Right. Jin turns on the breaker, which plays the video. Then Tina Fey busts in to room 23, and he tries to leave. She tasers him. She asked him about the grid maps and the Dharma Initiative and said, "This looks like your signature." That's fucking riveting.
It was
that
really
kind
cool.
Of stuff
So
is
he's
so
in
interesting.
in the 70s. He signed off on something.
He was searching the grids to find his people.
Right.
The people that didn't travel back in time with them or
so
something.
it wasn't that he was signing off on where the pockets of energy were.
He was just checking
He
all
was
the
just
grid
checking
Yeah.
all the grids for his friends.
Right. Yeah, so he asked to speak to Charles Widmore. And what the hell did that just put there? I have no idea what just happened there. Let's just undo that because... Okay, that was strange. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he has to see Charles Widmore. She's like, good, he wants to talk to you too. At the beach, for Man in Lock, he gives Saeed a gun, tells him to swim, but put it in a bag. You know, it needs to be.
But why can't he take the outrigger?
Because Man in Lock said he was taking the outrigger.
Or did he take the outrigger and drop Saeed off? And then,
yeah,
okay.
he asked if he could swim. Right, got it. So then he could
can
get up
you
to the
swim?
boat.
Because that's something you have to ask people that are grown adults, because we have cousins that are grown adults and don't know how to swim.
Do we?
Yes.
Who can't swim?
Matt and Michelle never learned how to swim.
Throw your kid in a pool and get them out if they
don't.
sink to the bottom.
Swear to
That's
God,
it.
ask them both. They do not know how to swim. If they fell off a ship in the middle of the ocean, they would drown.
Okay, but you could literally take a swimming class and figure it out in like 10 minutes.
They said they don't need to, because when they go in pools, they just go to where they can stand.
We're doing a
ask
whole
her.
Joel Henderson show on that eventually. I'm just
Okay.
telling you. That's fucking ridiculous, and that'll spin off an hour-long conversation.
I mean, whatever. That is their parents' fault. It has nothing to do with them. I mean, of course, as
what I'm saying
as
is
adults,
now
they
they
could
can
have
make
learned.
the choice to learn now. Still, there's
But
no reason
who
not
wants
to
to
notice
be
them.
an adult in a swim class with a bunch of little
You
kids?
pay a private instructor.
I don't. It doesn't.
Or
is it necessary?
Call your retired parents and say, "Get off your ass and teach me how to fucking swim." Unbelievable. They can still call in that debt. So Man in Lock asks what's wrong with Claire, and she asks about what he said to Jen about the names on the cave, and asks if she's in there. He's like, no, just no.
No, you're not
You
important
would
enough.
Never. Well, because of the baby, maybe.
Because she was going to give it away.
No, because she was going to eventually mother it.
It smells really good in here.
I can't smell anything. I've had too many beers. She feels not needed, and she's like, so you don't need me to leave then? And he's like, oh baby, I totally need you.
It was really gross.
Yeah, it was very weird. Says there's plenty of room on the plane for him. She's worried about being a stranger to her own son. And he says Kate's name's not on the list anymore.
Was it?
It was, yeah.
What took it off?
The fact that she became a mother.
Oh.
Jacob even says that at some point when he talks to them. We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
He's going, if you want the job, it's yours. You know, like
Yeah.
he figured that ruled her out.
Yeah.
So he needs Kate because he's 3 people shy of leaving the island, and she will help him get those 3 people.
Meaning Hurley, Jack
and Saeed. Oh, no, not
Son.
Saeed. Son, yes, correct. After that, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, if you
Like,
want to
you
kill
can kill
Kate
her.
after, I don't really
Yeah.
care.
Sawyer asks where they're going, the other island on the outrigger, and he's like, "Can't you just turn to smoke and float over?" Yeah, no.
Yeah. He should be
And
able
he's like,
to.
"No, because that would be ridiculous." Like, that's the line for
Yeah.
all of the mythical bullshit that's going on right here. Man in Lock tells Sawyer they took one of our people. At the beach camp, Alana's looking at Ben suspiciously. She doesn't believe him because he's speaking. I thought that was a pretty good
Yeah.
line. Well, of course I doubt you're speaking. She can understand English, but only speaks Korean. And Miles is like, he doesn't buy it, really.
Why?
I don't know. And Frank
Like
goes,
she would
ask
be
the man who
lying?
communes with the dead.
Yeah.
Jack says it's usually temporary, and then Alana's smiling, and Miles is like, what? What are you smiling about? And then boom, Hurley and Richard are back. Ricardus. And he says they're all leaving. So did you see Hydra Island over there?
I didn't, but that's pretty good.
Thanks. I thought I was pretty happy with Hydra Island. So we go to Hydra Island, and Man in Lock arrives, and the pylons. Where's Man in Lock? He's over here.
Where the freak are the pylons?
I don't have pylons.
God, why don't we
Can you
have all
help him-
these props?
Can you help Man and Lock get over there, please?
Where is he
Careful.
going?
Don't push on him.
Oh, God.
Only the base. Don't knock over Miles. Okay. So Man and Lock goes to Hydra Island, and the pylons are set up and humming. They shoot at him and tell him to put his hands up, and then Widmore and Man and Lock speak. Widmore knows he's not John Locke. Everything else he knows about him is either myth, ghost stories, or jungle noises in the night.
All true.
Right. He thinks he knows more considering the pylons. And Man and Lock says he's here for Jen, and Widmore's like, yeah, I don't know anything about that.
Why would he lie?
Because he didn't know. That wasn't part of the timeline.
Oh, he
The
didn't.
timeline it wasn't supposed to happen so quickly. Tina Fey and Man Baby tell him that. A wise man once said that war was coming to this island. I think it just got here. Who the fuck was the wise man that said war was coming to the island? Wasn't it Jacob? Didn't Jacob say when he was dying, war is coming to this island?
I feel
Or
like
they are coming or
Widmore
something?
would have had to have said that for him to have said that to him. Like when Ben banished Widmore, then he said like a war is coming.
Right.
You know, that would have made
But
more
how
sense.
would he have overheard that?
Because he's the smoke monster.
He just is pretending he's clouds.
Yeah, hanging out.
Just literally hanging out.
What's that dark cloud
at
over
me.
there?
Nothing. It answers back. I'm nothing. What? Oh, what? I'm suspicious. That cloud answered. Yeah, it's making the noises. I'm still using it like as a
Right.
trackpad. I'm sorry. I'm getting used to the iPad. Trying to use that instead. Back at the beach, Richard asks where Locke is, and the Hydra, the same place as the plane, and they want to go stop him. And Sun's like, why the fuck would we blow up the plane? That's our way off the island. I
Yeah.
want out of here. And she's like, you need me, and I'm not going anywhere, so fuck off. Back at Hydra Island, Widmore admonishes Tina Fey about taking Jin earlier than planned. Then Jin comes in, and Widmore says he needs the package from the sub to the infirmary. He apologizes and gives Jin a camera from Sun's luggage, and it has photos of Ji-Yeon, who he's never seen.
Mm-hmm.
I was impressed by the way Widmore said her name. The way he was like, Ji-Yeon. Like, as if it's one syllable. Ji-Yeon. Or
Instead of-
Ji-Yeon.
oh.
Ji-Yeon is how I would always pronounce it, Ji-Yeon, because it looks like Y-E-O-N. J-I-G.
Yeon. Ji-Yeon.
Ji-Yeon, he says, though. Like, he blended it.
Is it
sounded-
supposed to be that?
Yes, it is. Because every time they say it, it's Ji-Yeon.
Oh, okay.
So, oh, shit, where did I go here?
To be fair, he's already met Sun after she's had the baby, so he should know the pronunciation of the baby's name.
Right. Who? Widmore?
Widmore.
Yeah, fair enough. It's not like she goes, and my baby's name
This is my baby, Jian.
So Widmore relates about not being able to see his daughter, and he says, look, I could get you to her, but the reunion would be short-lived if Man and Locke got off the island. And Widmore's like, I need to show you my package. He's like, what package? He's like,
This package. Please stop. Ugh.
just wanted the zipper effect. And he's like, not a what, it's a who. So then
Dun dun dun.
So we go to the beach in the evening, and Sun's sitting alone by a fire. Jack sits down, and he talks about a patient he had during his residency. There was a car crash. He banged his head and couldn't talk, and he was frustrated. And so Jack offers her a pad of paper and a pencil to write with, or Sharpie or some shit. And she can write in English. So Jack found a tomato in Sun's garden
Yeah.
and said, guess no one told it was supposed to die. Stubborn little tomato. I mean, it has to be a metaphor for something.
What?
I don't know. I'm not even bothered at this
Okay.
point. She says sorry, and Jack is used to being told to leave people alone. Yeah, because you're obsessive.
Yeah, you're annoying.
Man and Locke told her he had Jin, but she doesn't trust him, so she didn't go with him. She does trust Jack, and he promises to help her find Jin and get her off the island on a plane.
Right, why do you make these promises that you can't
If she
keep?
comes with. Yeah, I don't know. He can't keep it, and he clearly didn't. Are you all right there, ice cubes?
That's all that's left.
At Man and Locke's beach, Sawyer's worried about getting is worried, but he's good at pretending he's not. He's got a feeling it's almost over. That's valid. Manlock comes back alone. Sawyer was hoping Widmore had killed him. He's like, oh, we're screwed if he comes back. Oh, there he is. Damn it.
Right.
Manlock sent Saeed to figure out what was locked in the room on the sub because I don't like secrets. Welcome to the fucking everybody watching the show. I don't like secrets. Tell me anything.
Right.
At the sub, Saeed sees them carrying Desmond out of the sub. They drop him and he's face to face with Saeed. Give me a break. That's so coincidental, but he just like gives him the...
Well, he's all drugged up.
Saeed. Oh, I mean,
oh,
Desmond,
do I know
yeah.
you? You look familiar.
Mm-hmm. And then we go to we go to the infirmary. That's what it was. Desmond is woken up by Zoe. He was sedated for 3 days. He is not in the hospital anymore, and he asked for Penny, and Widmore's like, yeah, she's not here. And he's like, you. Like he does. It's his catchphrase. Why is there not a picture of Desmond with the word you?
Right.
And that just be a t-shirt. I want that t-shirt. He tells him that Ben shot you. He apologizes for taking him away from his family. And he tells him that he's back on the island. And Desmond beats the shit out of him with the
takes
IV
the
pole.
thing right in his face.
Right.
It was awesome.
Uh-huh. And he tells him he can't take Desmond back because the island isn't done with you yet. Which we've heard from Michael and Tom. You know, we've heard that a few times.
And they're both dead.
Right. The island is done with them now.
Yes.
Jin wants to know why Desmond's here. And then they go to the generator room. Man Baby is complaining about timetable being rushed, and they turn on an electromagnetic field for a test. And they're looking for a faulty contact or the circuits in the solenoids. And he's like, we're going to send you in next, talking to a little bunny. And a guy goes in to check the room, and he finds the bad breaker, and then someone just fucking flips it on with no warning.
Yeah, like, oh, I found this.
I found it.
And they're like,
They didn't even say there's a guy in there.
He's dead.
Mm-hmm. So the guy is dead as they bring Desmond in, and they fight him into the chair. And Widmore's like, look, if everything I heard about you was true, then you'll be fine. And when this is over, I'm going to ask you to make a sacrifice, and I hope you'll help me. This isn't part of the sacrifice?
Right, I feel like this is it. Like, you potentially dying right now
I feel like if you
a
had
massive
one thing,
sacrifice.
If you had one sacrifice, you're going to get this
that's
sort
all.
of counts.
Oh, you get two. You get two major sacrifices.
Who's banging on something?
Banging.
Banging. Just banging, though? Okay, banging is required. I can't wait to bang my plate of food.
I can't wait
so
to bang
hungry.
my dinner.
I can't. Desmond goes, what the bloody hell do you know about sacrifice? He's like, my son died here. I don't get to see my daughter. I never met my grandson. Okay, fine.
I guess, but he seems kind of douchey in that.
It's
like
that he wasn't able to communicate what his motives were and why. If he had just, I don't know if he had been forthright, if that would have helped any, because it's not like it was an easy situation to explain when he was on the island before and
right, and we don't know if like Eloise could have been unfaithful. Maybe Daniel's real dad's last name is Faraday. And Widmore's not his dad. It
is Widmore's son. That's what they've said that.
Just saying.
If he doesn't help, everyone will be gone forever. And Desmond, they leave the room, and Desmond's out of the chair fucking instantly.
Oh, right.
What was the point of the chair? To let them shut the door?
Yeah, that's all.
He's testing Desmond to make sure he can withstand another catastrophic electromagnetic event. The way he said, as far as I know, he's the only one in the world to have been able to... putting the scope of the world there... I just thought was interesting because, like, you don't realize how special he is.
They've tried this at many locations, and you're the only person that's lived.
Yeah. They turn it on, and Man Baby won't pull the switch. What, you like Man Baby?
Man Baby is
Hashtag
so good.
Man Baby. Widmore does.
Well, Pedophile wouldn't be as good. Pedophile pulls the switch.
Pedophile, Jesus. Talk about making some assertions based on a look. What is that? Did I draw?
I don't know.
I think I drew something. Anyway, Desmond's screaming to get out still, and then he flashes and then wakes up back in the room like seconds later.
Where did he flash to?
I don't know. Where did he flash to?
Is that where he was painting in the loft or?
Nope.
Oh, his death.
He's gonna flash to the sideways.
To the side. He's flashing to his death,
To
and then
for
he
real,
comes back.
and then actually comes back.
Wow.
Yeah. So the stuff we're gonna see soon is where he flashed.
Nice.
He's okay and feels fine. And Desmond asks how long he was unconscious. They're like, yeah, just a few seconds.
And he's like, it was like 4 years.
Right. I can just draw down here. Okay, cool.
Okay. Are we drawing? What are we drawing?
Oh, sorry. Just drew a penis real quick.
Okay, real quick.
Desmond asks how. Yeah. So he's like, I understand now. And Winter's like, what? He's like, yeah, no, I totally get the mission. When do we start? I'm on board. He's all peaceful and calm. Like
Yeah.
he gets. I'm curious what peace Desmond finds in the afterlife that makes him so calm when he comes back right there.
Yeah, I don't remember.
So he's like, yeah, when do we start? Tina Fey asks what happened to Desmond. Why is he cooperating? And he's like, yeah, a lot can happen in 20 minutes. She thinks it fried his brain, and Saeed shows up and kills everyone but Tina Fey and then tells her to run. And Desmond's like, yeah, sure, I'll come with you. Whatever. No big deal.
Yeah, whatever.
Totally not
I'll go
invested in
wherever.
any of this. Whatever.
Don't care.
And then we get boom and Lost.
It was good. I really like these episodes. They're fantastic.
Yeah, they're all really good. I mean, I could live on this island with these
Very good.
characters forever. you
The
know.
only episode that there were a few episodes that I remember not liking, and they were like the one with the tattoos and
Yeah, but it
there
was
was a
only
few-
by comparison that that tattoo episode is not terrible on its own.
I guess.
But within the context of Lost, it was like, what are you doing?
Right. Why do we give a shit? We don't care about his
Yeah,
tattoos.
who gives a fuck
Nobody
about
cares.
the tattoos? So, yeah, I don't know. That's it. Next episode will be 94. I think it's only up to
Are we
90.
going to have more random flashbacks that should have been in the past? Because then I'll be super confused
I
again.
have an issue with that, and I just want to, I
We
don't
should
know.
email whoever did this.
Whoever made I would love to get the person on to interview. Would you be willing to do like a last episode
Sure.
after it?
Hey,
where
you
we go
really sucked in this episode,
right,
and
we
this
were
episode.
really pissed about this edit.
This one really
don't
ticked
you
us
think,
off.
Don't you think we could have a half hour's worth of
We'd have to go
interaction
back
with the
through
guy?
our episodes and see
No, I'm
which
not saying
ones
the
were
bitching
our
points.
Yeah.
I'm just saying as far as
No,
like questions for the guy.
What kind of questions?
Like, how the fuck did you come up with the time frames of a lot of these episodes? I mean, that's a starting point. The
Oh,
conversation
yeah.
would just spin off forever, I feel
I mean,
like.
it had to take him like 7 years to put
It
it
took
together.
2 years, I think.
That's ridiculous.
And he said he'll never be able to do it he'll never take the time to do it in HD.
No, why
It's
would
just-
anybody do that?
I mean, why not?
Because he's not getting paid. Number one.
Fair enough. Fine,
Like 2
whatever.
years of your life.
Fine,
is
we're
gone.
not professional. Whatever. We'll be
Okay.
back next week because.
This is how to watch TV.
See you later.
All these memories in my mind, my mind, my mind, my mind, my mind, my mind. I'm still a secret lemonade drinker.